Welcome to the Ink Panels Graphic Novel Book Club. If it looks like we're missing some people, we are. I am Dan, as always, your host, joined by Syd, Cartoonsyd. When we were doing this book, there was no one else I could think of because she lambasted the shit out of me for not adding it to my top image books. When Jen and I did a countdown a year ago during lockdown.
Yeah, still not forgiven.
I know, that's exactly why I invited you, so that you can get your shots in. Gambit and Jen will be joining us shortly. Jen's running a little bit late. As you might have seen on social media, Read Across the Stars Victoria had to drop out because of family obligations, and Dylan, aka the Dillbot, is having a baby. So that kind of trumps being on talking about robot kids.
It's fair.
And hello, Travis, TM Nerdy. How are you? And I see Noah's here, of course. And Scott, newest member of the Dune Over. We will have the dates mentioned soon.
Yay. Hi, Scott.
He's only slightly here.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody showing up. Again, we're waiting on some people, so I'll go ahead and introduce the book. Descender is by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. Dustin Nguyen captured my heart doing the Streets of Gotham series with Paul Dini and doing the most awesome Damien, in my opinion. And it is, I always like to mention the letterers now because they're kind of important. Steve Wands does the lettering and design.
The lettering's really good in this book.
It is very good, and I feel like they're the unsung heroes on some of these books.
Absolutely.
So my thing with this book was I wasn't a huge Jeff Lemire fan going into this coming out. I mainly picked this up because Dustin Nguyen's art. I had read Sweet Tooth, didn't love it. And then Animal Man by Jeff Lemire I was okay with.
I thought you liked his Moon Knight run.
That came later.
Oh, okay.
So I picked this up just kind of like, I know I'll like the art, and then I just absolutely fell in love with this book. And I liked him. I love Bandit and Driller, which we will get to.
Driller's the best.
This and Black Hammer are probably my two favorite Lemire books. Black Hammer is so incredibly good, especially the spin-off stuff that's come out.
Black Hammer's great. I've only read a few trades of it. I would probably say, this book's number one. I really liked his Moon Knight run. That's my favorite Moon Knight. And then Black Hammer.
The Warren Ellis start with the white suit.
That's true.
Yeah, I love the just chalk white suit.
Yeah.
I know, you love this book more than everything, so I'll let you vamp on it for a few minutes.
So this is one of my favorite books, full stop. Not image books, not comic books, one of my favorite books. For me, it's the perfect 10 out of 10 book. Hi, Jen. Good to see you again.
Hi. So good to see you, too.
Thanks for having me on, you guys.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
As I was saying, for me, perfect book, 10 out of 10. It's got your dystopian future. It's got your robots of various aesthetics. It's got your flawed protagonists. It's got good, slow, epic world building, which I'm a big fan of. We're big fans of the Spice Girls. It's perfect for me. It's great. And this gets ahead quite a bit, but the series does end really satisfactorily for me.
Mm-hmm.
And leads into that next series really well. Just a really, really satisfying good ending for me.
I'll always say, Ascender, if you haven't read Descender, you can almost pick up Ascender and be fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you totally can read Ascender without reading Descender, but you shouldn't.
No,
I would
absolutely.
say read. I feel like I say this about a lot of series that do this, but read the first volume. I feel this way about a lot of Black Hammer spinoffs. At least read the first volume and then read the rest. And definitely with this Jeff Lemire book. Hi, Sheena.
Hey, Sheena.
Yeah, definitely for me, read at least the first volume and then maybe get into Ascender, even though there's some spoilers for the rest of the series. But
I got into the whole thing of this probably and Black Hammer are my two favorite books by Lemire. Like Black Hammer especially, and like Syd, you got to read Barbalian.
I know. I've been saying for months I want to read it.
Yeah. Here, just take my copy.
Pass it through.
The trade just came out, so like it was amazing.
Oh,
like,
perfect. I think I have devolved into a trade reader at this point in my life.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
Gambit. Hello.
Hi, friend.
Your mic or your camera looks so dreamy, like it looks foggy almost. Does that mean is anything
Gambit's
kicking in
camera?
over here?
I think it's her glasses.
It's just
Yeah.
Gambit. He's just dreamy.
That is awesome.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can.
Hi. I'm sorry I'm late. For some reason, I thought it was at 9:30, and I was like, okay, still have like 20 more minutes.
We were worried about you.
I am so sorry. I've been sitting here with the StreamYard just ready to go into the room. I just had to click enter, just waiting. Okay, I'm just listening to music and scrolling through Facebook, as you do.
That's always dangerous, scrolling through
I
Facebook,
know.
just doom scrolling.
So I apologize. I am late. I am so sorry. It won't happen again.
And also John's Comics with Kids. Great as always to see you. Thank you for stopping in. You avoided having Jen's Comics with Cats.
Yeah. I mean, I have a cat right here, but he's not ready. I was mentally prepared to show up in like a blazer with like a world map behind me, or like, I don't know, some type of white couch as John's Comics with Kids does.
JP.
Wait,
And you need the bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought no, it's not. I thought it was a smudge, but I don't know why is that. What's that thing in this corner here, right here? I don't know what that is.
That's a ghost.
It's a ghost.
So before we fully
Definitely.
get involved in this, I have to ask you, Syd.
Mm.
Are you going to do the movie review reaction with us? For
For
Dune?
what?
For Dune.
After viewing the movie,
Yes.
I'm still trying to figure out a way that we can all go see it together.
Portland.
Yeah.
Or we can all be home for the second or third viewing and
Yes.
have it on HBO Max and kind of like all be in Zoom conference.
Yes,
I like that.
that
I like
is a
that
good
idea.
idea, but I crave the raw, horny chaos that will be the immediate reaction upon the first viewing.
Oh, like there
Don't wanna
was
miss out
enough
on
with
that.
your like going into our chat going, y'all.
Look, y'all.
As soon as you
weren't
go country,
awake
I
yet.
know it's
I was
trouble.
the first one in the group that saw the trailer. I was alone with my feelings. The world does need more gens.
There can be only one.
So, okay, digging into the nitty-gritty of the book. The two of us have already kind of started because we were alone and needed to fill time. So, Gambit, we'll dig in with you on this, and then we'll go to Jen.
Of course. Yeah. Well, where were we? Or where were you?
Talking
Oh,
about
I
our
was-
thoughts on the book.
I
and-
was saying perfect 10 out of 10 book for me.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I started. I started. I read this book like I don't know, like a year or two ago. I think you were still working with us when I read it.
I was, yeah. We discussed that too.
Yes,
Like it
because we-
feels like ages ago. I was like, it
Right?
was ages ago. Gambit and I
right.
were working together at the shop.
And
I was
I
just a
remember.
customer. I'm
Yes.
still a customer.
And I remember the feeling that the book made me feel, and I remember that I enjoyed the book a lot. And I remember that it was a very beautiful book, and I remember that it was intense, and it had everything that I was craving for the book from that book at that time. And as I read it again, I didn't remember anything about the book.
Same.
Like
It was much darker than I remember.
yes, right. So it was a little bit darker than I remember, and shit, I didn't remember anything about the book except that I felt good and I felt nice to read a good book. When I was done with it, but aside from that, it's like I was reading a new book, like a completely new book. It's like, when did this happen? So I was curious. Now I know that it wasn't just me that did not remember anything about the book, but I think this the second time reading it, I enjoyed it a little bit more, I guess.
Been
I don't
4
know
or 5
why.
years since it released, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Ish, yeah.
I read it when I got the trade. I read it the second time on my phone because my trade is in the storage. But I remember reading it right as soon as that first trade came out. I went and I bought it and I sat down in the studio because it was a slow day and I started reading it and I loved it. I especially loved the art. And I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. The whole book is in watercolor and it has no inks. It's just a watercolor and the pen, and you can see the pencils. He colored the pencils too. It's like it's beautiful. I mean, I'm assuming he colored them. I probably did it digitally. If not, it's amazing how he did
I
it.
don't think it's digital because I've seen
No.
him post some
It's
processes
watercolor.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Instagram. Yeah, and it's just like from start to finish, like
Oh, if
watercolor.
it's digital, it's even more impressive.
He uses the watercolor pens. I watched him do commissions at Comic-Con, and he was using the watercolor pens.
Yeah,
Because-
he's the one that does Little Gotham,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
those are
I-
adorable.
I haven't read that. I read it. I read that. I haven't read those books. I have a trade for it, but one of the many books that I have that I
Did
haven't
Streets of
had-
Gotham with Paul Dini, which was phenomenal.
I haven't read that one
Read
either.
that.
Also, we were talking about the letterer, how much it stands out in this. Steve Wands did a fantastic job lettering this book.
Mhm.
Especially all of the different characters and like how their voices.
Different
I know,
font.
I know we'll kind of like get into that and like I know we'll probably talk about like our favorite characters in the books and
Yes.
so yeah.
The different robot voices.
Mhm.
The lettering's great.
Yes, it matches the character,
Very much.
so that's pretty cool.
Jen?
I love this book a lot. I know I kind of came in while you were saying this, Sid, but 10 out of 10 would recommend. I feel like it's an underrated series still. I feel like to Travis's point, like TM Nerdy hasn't read it yet. And that surprises me. Travis, maybe I may send another box your way and see if we can get you to read
It's
this.
$9.99 first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember this coming out in single issues and just falling in love with the artwork and the story. And it's such a good story, but I still feel like there's so many people that haven't read it. And I know, Sid, you were saying like the slow world building is just absolutely fantastic. And I wouldn't call this story a slow burn whatsoever, but I feel like I do forget that world building. I feel like when I think back on this book, I think about the characters most of all, not necessarily the plot.
Mhm.
But then I just noticed myself getting lost in this, like getting lost in all of the artwork and the
artwork.
details. Mm-hmm.
It starts slow and then gets very frenetic as the story starts moving. And this is one of those things I'd say like Lock and Key. The longer it goes, the actual better it gets.
Mm-hmm.
In my
Yes.
opinion.
Absolutely. And I mean, I was surprised upon rereading it in trade now as opposed to reading the issues before, how many like big player characters aren't even in this trade. So
Yeah.
like that aspect of the world building as well. It's like,
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Gore. It's good seeing you as always. Always bringing the knowledge.
Yeah. I can't recall if there's a character count for how much you can type, but I'm pretty sure Gore maxes it out every comment.
Every time.
140.
Oh, one. There you go.
There you go.
140.
it's a tweet.
It's a great tweeter.
Yeah, I learned that on Bearded and John's live stream when they were doing the Richard Donner movies. I maxed it out because I was drunk and typing. And
Yeah.
Dude,
That's
you never
what it
drunk and
was.
type. You know, everybody knows that. You don't drunk and type.
oh, it was worse. I was walking too. I was out jogging drunk and listening to their show, and I got mad about something else
Jogging drunk and listening to YouTube.
at 12 at night.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Right?
Yeah, I never said I was a genius. Like,
No, but that's true. That is
No,
true.
it's a good time. You gotta make your own fun sometimes.
well, you know, like I saw your jump roping video. I'm glad you can make fun of yourself.
Yeah, I am having to take a few days off because my foot is hurt.
Oh, Jen knows
Oh,
about
no.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I like about the art? One of the many things I like about the art is that when you read the first few pages, when everything is shiny and chrome and everything is beautiful, and then suddenly this huge thing next to the planet shows up and
Yes, the harvester.
fucks everything
Yeah.
up. The tone, literally the tone is like he put a darker filter over it, and everything feels cold, especially those first pages in the
Mm-hmm.
in the
On the
mines.
moon, yeah.
Yes, when Tim is alone, it feels cold. You know,
Yeah.
you read those pages
That's a
and
good point.
it feels that it's cold. So yeah, Dustin it's a master on what he does, definitely.
Yeah,
And
I
he
would say,
proves it
I
in
mean,
this book.
He's underrated. I feel he's an
Yeah.
underrated artist, like
Absolutely.
completely.
But I
there's,
feel
go ahead, Jen.
Oh, I was going to say at the same time, I feel like there's not many stories that I feel like Dustin Nguyen's art could really. I mean, like he's a fantastic artist, but I can't imagine another story like just fitting so perfectly to his artwork. Like I feel like the deep like sci-fi, whether it's a small contained part where they're on a ship or whether it's just the vastness of space.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really truly cannot think of anyone else's art on a story like this or a story that works well with the art.
I think it would change the story a lot for me if it didn't have like this kind of artwork, this kind of like
Yeah.
lush watercolor artwork.
I have another book that I read this week actually that I want to talk about, but I'll talk about it later and a little bit of the difference.
Weirdly, this book, like the colors also, like Telsa, the contrast between her hair and her pale skin, just every time you turn to her on the page, it just pops.
Yeah.
And you can't help but
Stands
have
out.
your eyes drawn to her.
Yeah, especially that like blue, like he shades it like this perfect shade of her skin, like this perfect. This is like the first panel, but you can really see the blue against the just like sharp red right there.
Yeah.
Like the red doesn't feel like watercolor; it just feels like solid ink.
And you should, if you notice, it stands out from the rest. It's the only heavily saturated thing in every page. She's the only, aside from black, which only makes that red pop out more. It's the only red thing in almost every page. The only solid red thing in every page that she's in. So it's pretty sure it's done like that on purpose. You
like
know?
this is like space, and it's still like watercolory. You know. But then you see her hair and it's red ink, no water.
Do you guys remember? I don't remember. I don't know what trade it's in, but there was an issue that came out that didn't have any dialogue at all. For the most part, it was the different timelines. There was something going on with Andy and Effie, and something going on with the Tims, and like something going on somewhere else. And it was just those like splash pages for like
it was near the end of the
issue.
series. Yes.
Was it?
Yes, it was the last trade because that was when it was leading up to like the Tims fighting, which I'm sorry we're spoiling and getting to. But
the teams are going to fight, Obvi.
So I can appreciate like
they don't introduce an evil twin for no reason.
The real test of an artist is if you can tell a story without words.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
like,
that's exactly the point I'm trying to make. It's
there's certain
the
artists that
last
can pull
issue
it
of
off.
Watchmen, like when you're like, and there's no words at all, but it's like so emotional for you.
Yes.
It's a whole issue like that.
I also I read this and I was like, okay, I know they're making a movie or a series out of this. And I was like, 20 years ago, this 100% would have been Spielberg.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Or James Cameron. But James Cameron would take 10 years to be like, oh, I don't think the technology's there yet. I'm going to buy the rights to it and sit on it.
Yeah, just invent his own technology.
Yeah.
Who do you think would, do it now? Or who do you think would be doing it 5-10 years from now?
Denis Villeneuve.
I knew you were going to say that. I don't know anything about movies.
There's
but
so
I was
much
like,
robots and like sci-fi trash. Like he makes like worlds look like shit, and this world looks like shit.
Excuse me, I love sci-fi trash.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, he makes it like look beautiful, even though it's just trash. Like 2049 Blade Runner. I mean,
Yeah.
it's trash.
And
It looks beautiful though.
I can see
I
that.
identify as sci-fi trash.
You know that that's it reminds me of that it's a movie that came out on Netflix not long ago. I haven't seen it yet, but it's like the only thing I can compare it is like if it was a live action Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
It's about these people that are in a ship and they find a kid inside some junk, some space junk, and it turns out that the government is looking for that kid because it apparently is a weapon or something like that. But that's what I imagine. A movie like that is what if how I imagine something like this being done, especially when the first group of scrappers shows up in the moon and it's like you should be scared, you know.
And
Grotesque
the heart tugging scenes where he's flashing back to Andy and Andy's mom, and he's calling her mommy.
Yeah.
Oh God! And then him finding her body, like, oh
yeah.
I like that
Awesome.
I like that episode. Sorry, that issue. They give you those specific key moments in the life of Tim where you go like, especially that one last night where she goes like, do you want me to, you know, put you to sleep too for the night? And he goes like, yeah, maybe I have a dream. And then you know that he woke up 10 years later and he's going to, then he finds her dead a few pages.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I needed my feelings today or anything like that, you know?
They got him a dog.
I love Bandit. They
got him a dog. I forgot that Bandit was a gift for Tim. Like, for some reason, I remembered Bandit as being like Andy's dog or like the family's dog or whatever, but it's Tim's dog. That's so sweet. Like,
I have to say, after years of not reading this and just kind of just chugging through the series, going back and rereading, I forgot how much I don't remember of it, and like the vibe of it, like it was kind of like having the magic of reading it for the first time again.
Yes, that's how it felt today. I when I was rereading it, because I read it today.
So did I.
But it was a really quick read. I knew that it was a really quick read.
Monstrous.
And it's not like, you know, and I don't say that as a bad thing. I feel like for being such a quick read, it grips you, you know, it gets you in it, you know. It's like, holy shit. And then you get to that last page and you're like, wait, is that it? Oh no.
I think the pacing is great.
Yes, I don't know how you guys did it when you were reading this thing issue by month by month. You know, I wouldn't have been able to handle a month wait for another issue.
I watched Moon. I loved Moon. I think that could be good.
Oh, I've been meaning to watch that Moon. That movie.
Sam Rockwell is amazing. And he's just by himself the whole movie.
Okay, so when isn't he amazing though? Exactly.
Point taken.
I tried watching that movie when, like, right after it first came out, and I hated it so much. It was one of those that I've tried to go back and rewatch, and I don't think I'll ever go back and rewatch it. Even though I'm a much changed person now, like that was probably at least 10 years ago when I tried to watch it, and I don't know. I'll try. Maybe I'll try.
You know,
no one knows.
Isn't there another movie that's connected to Moon? I'm going to look that up because I think I read that somewhere. So now I'm going to have to look that up so I don't look like an idiot.
Noah.
That's how I saw The Strangers. It was me and my friend, and we were the only people in the theater, and we were drunk watching it, and we just made fun of Liv Tyler's faces the whole time. She kept making these weird faces every time the Strangers showed up. Let's go into favorite characters, because we all have our character we gravitate to. From the time the first variant came out, that by the Sean Gordon Murphy one in particular, Telsa was on it, or Tesla as everybody keeps calling her in this book. And I immediately was like, I want to know more about that character. And then later on, when we're on the mining planet, we meet my second favorite character, Driller, a real killer.
He's a real
killer. circular. I
Don't
imagine
trust
I imagine him
humans.
with kind of like a Brooklyn accent, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
He's Russell Crowe. He's Russell Crowe.
Exactly.
See, I imagine it very, very different. Driller is also, I think that like memorably, like Driller is definitely one of my favorite characters, but I see him as more like soft spoken.
Tragic
And
character.
yeah, I feel
Really?
like he would have more like Driller's a killer, like Driller's a real killer. Like I just maybe like a Pooh, like Winnie the Pooh type voice is how I
Oh my
imagine
damn.
Driller.
goodness.
No, I imagine like I imagine the Thing. If the Thing was a robot, that's Driller. That's what I imagine.
But yeah, that's more like the vibe I had too.
Driller had an origin issue
I'm
in
so
this.
glad that everyone recognizes how great Driller is.
Well, he's just like stupid yappy dog, like or yappy robot. I love that.
He calls them Little Bot and Yappy Bot.
Yeah.
Yappy bot.
It's adorable.
I think
Driller's
that
so great.
Driller was probably Lemire's favorite character to write too. Like
Yeah, that's a good point.
I imagine, you know, Jeff Lemire, I know you're watching. Just go ahead and drop in the chat that Driller is also your favorite character.
You can
Jeff Lemire
admit
is a killer.
Jen sussed it out.
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Jen. Driller is just so fun and so great.
And I can't talk about other characters that show up.
There's an echo. Somebody's has the volume on their speakers on, and I don't know who it is. Is it you?
I think we all have headsets. Is it me?
No. Is it
No.
me?
It's gone. It's
Hello?
magically
That's so
gone.
weird.
It's that
Oh.
ghost. that
Jeff
you brought.
Lemire, is that you?
It's the ghost. It's the ghost behind me.
Remember when there was audio problems for a while, Jen, where you like had the weird audio? It was because of just some weird iOS update.
Yes, and there I feel like there's a whole bunch of issues with the Safari, and I can't use my AirPods. I have to have wired headphones. I think that's an issue as well.
We have confirmation. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Can I call you Jeff? Sorry, Mr.
Yeah.
Oh, I needed to tell you this, guys, but the movie that is loosely tied to Moon is called Mute, and there's a graphic novel to make it a trilogy. Bam!
That's cool.
I was not crazy.
Multimedia
That is
project.
excellent.
I just thought of
Love to
another
see that.
director that would be interesting to do this. The guy who did District 9.
Oh,
Yeah.
Blooming
Blomkamp.
something. I don't know.
Yeah, he did Elysium, and that was a really cool movie too.
My only if he does do it, then my only request is that Charlton Copley is in it, because I love that man. I love Charlton Copley so much. I have a thing for him, like I do.
Jeff,
all
did you hear that?
filthy old.
Make a note.
Yeah, make a note. Cast Charlton Copley in it so I can thirst over him as much as I do.
Like, I don't know, like, it's just weird because I think he has, like, that weird kind of outsider form of directing, and if he put the
Yeah.
people from Die Antwoord as the scrappers, that would be fine.
Yeah, that
That'd
would
be
work.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, that would
I
work.
hated Chappie, I'm not gonna
Cameo.
lie. I hated
What?
Chappie.
You hated Chappie?
I liked
I am
it.
Chappie.
What?
I thought it was fun.
It was.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I hated that this dude was wearing the Bite Me Fanboy
Godspeed,
jacket,
Jeff.
but at the same time, I love that he was wearing that Bite Me Fanboy jacket.
Was he wearing the Bite Me fanboy jacket?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I know.
Crossover.
That's the best DC movie ever.
So besides Driller, who's the uncontested champion of the book, yeah. Besides Driller, my favorite character actually isn't in the first trade. It's Effie.
Ooh,
Who's super cool. I based a D&D character on her one
of course
time.
you did.
Yeah, it was fun. But I'm gonna go with Tim.
He is your robot child.
He's my robot son. I would take
Yes.
a bullet. I would take a harvester for him. I'd take a harvester to the face for Tim 21. He's so pure and he's so good. And even in the first trade when they're hurting Quan and Tim like just found out that Quan is a fraud.
Liar.
Oh,
And
that's
he's
right.
like,
Oh,
he's like begging for them to stop, and he goes to Telsa. Yeah, Telsa.
Tesla.
Chelsea.
I was gonna be so embarrassed if I said it wrong. He like
I just
goes
know
and
it
like
bothers
hugs her
Gambit.
stomach, and she's like, can't you turn down your emotion processor or something? And he's like, no, the whole point of my existence is to like be emotive and like become part of my human family. Like I actually can't.
Yeah, that was really cute.
Precious
It-
little boy.
And I remember you saying that he was your robot child. I remember
He's
that.
my
all that.
son. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I remember. Well, I remember there was a cover for this series. He's past the first the first trade. It's a
Oh my
cover.
God.
Remember?
Oh my God! Look! I have it. Because they made that.
She came prepared, folks.
No, they made it the cover of the second trade. Look.
That one. That same drawing. I had a drawing, a very similar blue line drawing once. And I was like so excited about it because I really liked it. And then I see that shit.
Yeah, he showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh, Descender," and he was like, "What?" I was like,
Isn't there a Ghost in the Shell cover that was almost just like that, or that
Probably.
Similar.
Probably,
Look,
but
Bandit.
when she saw it, she was like, "Oh, that's Descender." I said, "What are you talking about?" I was so angry.
You were like, "I just came up with this." I was like, mm-hmm.
Sure.
Oh man, I suck as an artist.
I was just thinking about that the other day because whenever I see this image, I'm like, "Oh man, Gambit thought he came up with that."
I love
Right?
that
I
there
thought
was-
these cool ideas. Holy shit! Now this is it. This is the drawing that's gonna make me go viral. This is my claim to fame. I did it. I did it. Look, Sid. Look what I did. And she goes like, "Oh, that's from Descender, right?" And like, what? The what?
I like that in the first two issues also they went through the harvesters came and then everybody destroyed every fucking robot. There was like robot genocide.
Oh yeah, no, that's literally one splash page.
Matter of factly, they're just like, yep, and this happened.
Yeah.
And that's how Dune started. This is actually a Dune prequel.
Oh my god. Jeff Lemire. Do the Machine Crusade.
Yeah.
That happened in the 10 years in between.
Yeah.
It went from shiny and chrome to 10 years later. Everything looks like hell. Everything looks cold. Everything is like it's not a place I want to live in. You know.
What? Can you do that one more time for me?
Wow. Yeah, I do shit like that on command sometimes.
So Gambit, your favorite characters?
I have to say that it's a Driller and Tim and the yapping bot. You know, it's the bots. It's the bots.
It's the bots.
It's the bots.
It's the bots.
Those are the characters which I found myself, you know, looking forward to read what was going to happen next more than what was going to happen with the Doctor. And the second time around, I guess that's that I in the back of my head, since I already read it, I knew that the Doctor was gonna come out as a fraud, you know. And so in my head, I was like, fuck the Doctor since the beginning.
So you had like no empathy at all. You're like, eh.
Yeah, I did not feel anything at all. But it's like, yeah. Well, I mean, I do have to admit that even though it's my second time reading it, when they cut his hand, I was like, what? When did this happen?
That was fucking metal.
It does escalate quickly.
It's like no chill. Okay, torture him. What? Like, dude, you didn't even give him a break. You know, you cut a finger off, you know, and you know, you just to show that you're serious and you're willing to commit to what you're doing in your torture thing, but you don't go right ahead from the first and cut that hand off.
That's where you play Man of War or like Death Heaven when they're cutting the hand off. Like, just make it just this metal.
So yeah, even the second time around, it shocked me. And when they shot Tim, when Tim shoots the leader of the scrappers, I was like, whoa, he can do that, you know. And then the next page he gets the panel after that, he just gets shot in the back by that thing. So it was really sad. It was really sad to see.
I already mentioned this to Dan, but if it wasn't for Driller, this whole story wouldn't have happened.
So Driller's basically like the Neville of this story then. Like,
He's the other
Yeah.
chosen one, but didn't.
yeah.
The unsung hero, yeah, the one that the story
Mhm.
should have been about.
It was really the whole time.
If he didn't wake up because he heard humans and wanted to murder them and saved him from those scrappers, like,
Okay, did that resonate so much with me?
because it's rough out here, Gambit.
You know, that thing woke up. It's like, fuck
like,
you,
humans?
you know, immediately he woke up. It's like, you're gonna kill you. I can't.
Been
It kind
asleep
of
for a while. You
resonates
get
with
woken
me.
up randomly. You get pissed off.
Oh
That's
yeah.
his driving force for action. Like his reason to exist is he fucking hates humans.
Right.
Romans.
I exist to hate humans.
Yeah, relatable.
Dan, I know you probably don't like the character I liked because she's kind of a bitch.
Who's that?
Telsa.
I love Telsa.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I 100% relate to like her just cold bitchiness. I appreciate that a lot.
I just like, yes, daddy.
That
Yeah. Like she had that weird thing, and then she's like, yeah, that was my dad.
page.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Why did that page hurt so much? It's like it's just a robot.
Oh,
No,
robot,
it's just-
robot
But he
purgatory was
really
beautiful.
cares about Tim. Like he doesn't know anything that's going on. He just like wakes up, kills these humans. There's a little boy bot hurt. He's like, oh no, I don't know how to fix you because I'm dumb and a murderer.
And Telsa like becomes bitchier in Ascender. She's straight
Yeah.
up now. She's like older and pissed off.
Well, yeah, she's an alcoholic.
Oh wow.
Which
I
I mean,
haven't read
she's seen,
Ascender
like-
yet.
yeah,
Okay, sorry.
it's
Oh
understandable.
no, it's okay.
Robots,
Robots have feelings too. I know, man. I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They have feelings, and this book touched my feelings today.
Mm.
I
They
feel
have
like
exactly.
feelings
I feel
and
like Sid needs
afterlife.
a robot and proud of it shirt, kind of like the mutant proud of it.
Oh, I like
Oh,
that.
I love
That's a cool
that.
idea for a shirt.
Yeah.
Right? Robot, I'm proud.
Jen, your
about that
character,
dream.
sorry.
Let's talk about that dream sequence. That's not supposed to be a dream. What's up with that?
Thank you.
I mean,
Yeah.
Did you guys? Give me a second. I don't know why Alexa is talking to me right now.
That's okay.
No, Alexa, whatever. Shut up.
Robots are trying to kill me.
Right? Oh no. It's starting. It's starting.
like,
This
I've
is
been
the
here
start
all
of the
along.
Butlerian jihad.
Alexa, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just in case, you know.
Yeah. No, you can't be too careful.
Exactly. So where was I? That dream sequence. Yeah, that's not supposed to be a dream. You guys that come from the future have read the entire thing. I need to know more. Did they address this later on, or is this something that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because I would be really pissed if
Yeah.
you tell me no, they canceled they canceled the show and we never talk about
That
it.
that whole thing is kind of like the crux of the plot.
Okay. All
I
right.
feel like it's reasonable to say that. It's like the truth about the robots. Sorry, Alexa. Ask Alexa who her favorite character is.
It's gonna be Driller.
You imagine that?
It's obviously Driller.
You imagine that? She goes like, it's Driller, obviously.
I mean, just look at him.
Right?
Look at him. That is a hunk of robot.
Yeah, he's a real killer.
He's a real killer. But yeah, the question of like, was that a dream? Is that the robot afterlife? Like, what's going on with these robots? Because, in this first trade, we learned that modern robotics, as we know it, isn't something that was created by humans. It was a life form that was found by humans and then modified and turned into all of the different kind of robot servants that we know now. So when Quan is being questioned, he's like, I really don't fucking know because I found this shit on an old ass moon on the outer rim of the galaxy, and then I just copied and pasted it, and I'm the father of robotics.
And I think that's where we like really find out that he's really not the good guy in this story. Like he's, well, maybe before that, but
Yeah.
Thomas Edison, basically.
At first you kind of want to feel bad for him, but when his hands get cuts off, you're like, oh, but then he goes and tells his bullshit. You're like, but you know what? Fuck you, man. I'm glad your hand got cut off. Shit. That's what you get for being a human.
Well, Tulsa's just like, fuck him. Let him get killed. I don't care.
Yeah, she's like, wait, well,
she's like, what, you don't know anything? Kill him.
Literally.
You know that,
like wreck shop.
That dream sequence reminded me of the movie I, Robot with Will Smith when he sees that makes that drawing of the all the robots in the. Oh yeah, I love that movie. I really like that movie a lot.
it's been a minute since I've seen that movie, and now I want to go back and watch it.
Yeah,
I remember being traumatized by a dog. I don't remember the details, but I remember being like, never watching this again.
Wait, no, isn't I Am Legend?
That's I Am Legend.
Oh.
Yeah. But
what are we talking
I said
about?
The same thing.
iRobot.
iRobot is the other one.
Okay.
Yes, the dog, that was horrible.
Yeah,
but
the dog
both,
thing was horrible.
It's the same guy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I wasn't too many degrees off from
No.
sense. That's good.
No. It's the same actor, but not the same movie.
Tim hugging Telsa during the torture. He's like, make him stop. And she's just like,
he's just a baby.
Well, they have her shoulders go back. She's like, stop, don't touch me.
That's how usually you react to a kid.
Sweet. He's a robot boy. He's a little Robbie.
There's only two things that I didn't like that just a little bit of a little bit was that page where this dude says Tesla and Telsa. It just from one panel to the other, and not ironically or not being funny. It was like,
it's just a typo.
Yeah, it's just a typo, and I see how it happened, and it's something that would have happened to me if I was the letterer. I would have 100% would have wrote Tesla in every panel. I would have wrote the name wrong. Everyone. So there's like that, and how did this Ray did not get to her too?
Yeah, like, physically that doesn't really make any sense.
It's the only thing, but it's so stupid that it's like, yeah, whatever, man. Don't be an idiot,
Yeah.
But it's a good thing for her trauma and making her how she is, though, explaining like her kind of hatred.
I like how you immediately, when they talk about, when he said that's my father, and he looks at her and she goes like, well, I take after my mother, thankfully, and immediately they give you that scene where her mom is disintegrated by the ray, and at first I thought, oh, okay, so maybe her mom and him had an affair at some point, or were a couple at some point, and she passed away. And no, when I saw that page, my story in my head changed, and I don't know if they touched this in later books, but he found an orphan and he decided to like take her in and because she was and be a father figure for her because she was left alone. But it's interesting how that changed my whole story in my head from one panel to the other.
I've got to go, guys. Bye. Sorry.
Bye, Jen. No worries.
Bye.
So I hope everything's doing okay.
We'll check in on her after.
Yes.
She might have had a work call.
Probably. Yeah.
Cat emergency.
I am not going to freak out. I have to remember. Start palpitating.
Keep it together, Gambit.
Right.
I do. Yeah, I like how they give you that immediate motivation for her. Like, it's like, oh, she's kind of a hard ass. She's kind of, and then it's like, oh yeah, her mom was murdered by the harvesters.
Yeah, of course she's gonna be. I'll be pretty pissed too.
Yeah.
Catastrophe.
Thanks,
Um,
John.
Justin V had a family thing to
Situation.
do. It came up at the last minute, so we're like the Fast and the Furious movies. When it's family, it supersedes everything.
Right.
I've seen the memes. I know.
Family is stronger than everything.
Yes, it's even better than the high ground.
I missed that one.
So Lemire and Nguyen do a great job of show don't tell with a lot of stuff, where it's like, we're going to show you just a panel. It's going to tell you everything you need.
Yes.
Moving on.
That's I think that's what I was trying to say with that when they saw when you see the flashback for Telsa is that they do that a lot with just one page. You get all the information you need, and that helps move the story along, and it feels a bunch of you feel a bunch of blanks in your head that you put a bunch of things together, and they did a good job in let us read in between those panels.
Well, this is like the anti-Jonathan Hickman, where Hickman will go to extremes of explaining everything, where this is like a panel.
Which I also love.
A panel, show you, moving on.
Yeah, it's a visual medium,
It's kind of like that movie Looper by Rian Johnson, where time travel exists. We're not going to say how or why. It just does. It fills the part of the story. Moving on.
Exactly.
That's the last we'll speak about it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jonathan Hickman is like, well, you see, 200 years ago, there was a small mining community on the moon of... which I also enjoy very much.
I guess
like, it's different things. Like, certain writers are just deft. It's their thing. And, in X-Men, he will put in those, like, info dump pages where you're like, all right.
Oh, God, I love it. It's like so much bullshit. Like, that honestly is a bullshit thing to do in a comic book, I think. Like on its own, if you told me that like a comic had these like textbook pages of just not like the Watchmen style of like a secondary source textbook, but literally just a textbook explaining the fucking comic you just read, I'd be like, that's dumb. Just explain it in the comic.
I hate it.
But in execution, I genuinely fucking love it. You hate it?
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. This is not why I grab a comic book. I didn't grab a comic book to read textbook pages for real.
For sure. Like I
mean,
said, conceptually, it's terrible.
Don't get me wrong. If it's a good story, I've been enjoying what he's been doing with the X-Men stuff. I've been enjoying X-Men this past year and a half, 2 years. It's been going on a lot, but it has a lot of that, and it irritates the shit out of me because that's not why I picked up a comic. I wanted to see I want to see those characters. I don't want to just read about them, I want to see the drawings. I like to see the colors. I like to see the dialogue bubbles. It's all part of the thing that I have in my hand, and what makes the thing that I have in my hand special. For again, it's not that I don't love textbooks, but if that's what I wanted to read, I pick up.
Nobody loves textbooks.
I pick up a textbook. I pick up a regular book and read a regular book, which is equally amazing. But
Decorum is a textbook. Holy shit, that book is a textbook.
I totally get what you're saying, Gambit, and I think like you are right to feel that way. I feel like I shouldn't like it.
The happiest person's the letterer.
Right. But like for me, especially with the X-Men stuff and the like House of 10 and like the original ones that he did when he had to like fill you in on the new X-Men lore, right? For the Hickman lore. I ate that shit up. Like, it was so interesting to me. Like, just give me all of your world building in a pamphlet and just let me read it.
Well, this is totally off subject, but this is an interesting question. What's your favorite Marvel comic books?
Moon Knight. Moon Knight's my number one.
Really? I haven't read Moon Knight. I've only been reading. No. I've only been reading the X-Men stuff for the. I haven't even read a DC comic book until. No, that's a lie. I've read a couple Strange Adventures and Crush and Lobo. But the only thing
a
been
Moon
reading
Knight
is
trade
just.
as a gift from you one time.
I mean, you probably did got a
I
Moon Knight
swear I
gift
did.
from me, but doesn't mean I read it.
I can't
Daredevil
Here, you'll
currently.
like this.
Daredevil currently in the X books, and Immortal Hulk are probably like my three
Yeah.
top.
I've been enjoying the Marvel's Conan, and also been enjoying the Ablaze Cimmerian, which is Conan, which is fun. Which is it's I don't know. If, the Ablaze ones are just adaptations of Robert E. Howard's original Conan stories into comic book, which we already got something similar by Kurt. I hope I'm pronouncing this last name correctly, but Kurt Busiek. I don't know. Busiek. He did Conan for Dark Horse years ago, and it was an adaptation of Robert E. Howard's tales into comic format. They got a bunch of other stuff, but it was at first it was just that, which is what Ablaze is doing, releasing each story as a mini series. But it's actually they have actually been really, really good, surprisingly good. Yeah.
So, out of this book, what was your favorite scene in the book? Like, what was the one that like made you love the book?
Oh, damn. That's. I can tell you which cover was the one that captivated me the most from this first trade, from this first series, because I remember seeing it on the store when it was a single issue. I didn't buy it, but I love the cover. It's this one.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the cover that I mean,
yeah.
Judging by that cover alone, I imagine. Yes, I imagine a completely different story in my head of what this book could be. When I started reading this book, I was like, oh well, this is not what I was expecting.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that because it looks like it's like a group story,
team book.
Yeah. I thought I was gonna read X-Men in space, you know.
Like Dark Horse and X-Men.
Like, this story is about one little boy.
Just one boy.
And his robot companions.
And his robot companions.
Bitchy alien. And like, if this was Lost in Space, Quan is basically Dr. Smith. He's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's just kind of out for himself.
I guess...
Also, the scene that where she tells Tim, can you turn that thing off? And he says no. The scene that we were talking about earlier. He says no, I can't. That's the whole point of my exit. That's I think that's the other scene that I would say like and that's when I fell in love with the character. Fully fell in love with Tim. Like oh my god, it's like I would take a bullet for this kid.
Yeah, I'd take a harvester to the face.
This right here where he's carrying Tim.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yes.
A bunch of driller stands in this chat.
Right.
That and like also like 100% the scene where he's looking at all the robots in purgatory in the dream world, where he's just like, oh yes.
Yeah. It's his first ever dream, and it's of the robot afterlife where he meets all the robots that were tortured and murdered in the robot genocide. Like, he's having a day.
Yeah.
He's having a day. Jesus.
I woke up after 10 years.
Yeah.
I got shot. Everybody's dead.
Everyone's dead in my mining colony. I've just been shot.
Say hi to...
What do you mean you were all tortured and killed?
My friend Rat Hammer that's on the chat right now.
Hi,
who you do the D&D show with?
Yeah, we do the show with we do the D&D show together every Friday night.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's in Spanish though. I wish I could put subtitles on it so you guys could.
You can.
You can?
Yes. You can set subtitles for it. Closed caption in English.
Huh.
You just have to go ahead and before it goes the live stream, you go into the settings and it'll put in English subtitles.
What?
It might not be close, but it'll be good enough.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to try that because they're hilarious games. Like no joke. I like this character.
John's Comics has his show as well. Oh yeah, the Ganeshu.
Oh yeah, the King of Nish.
King.
Yeah. Whatever.
I like that they were being introduced. I like how he looks. Yeah, we have been playing for more than 40 hours of D&D.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you gotten into Ravenloft yet? Because that always becomes a horrible game.
We haven't. We're in that setting, but we haven't been there yet. We just saved one of the characters, completed one of the main quests of which was getting one of the characters to safety and away from Strat. So we just did that last night, but we haven't yet.
Well, that's fun. I'll definitely check it out. I love D&D.
I couldn't tell. I've never heard you tweet or
Have I
post
not
about
mentioned
it.
that?
No.
Little known fact.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like
know this about me.
that character. It's not. I don't. There's something about him that I guess I like. What I like is that I can hate him. You know.
Oh, he's a raging asshole.
Yeah, that I can dislike him. I think that's what I like about that character. That I can be like, fuck you, man. You know, like.
Well, it's like Prince Robot in Saga. He's so fucking deplorable and despicable, but he's kind of charming at the same time.
Oh no, yeah, but
He's
this was like
very charming at the same time. Don't act like you're not into it.
Oh no, he's my favorite character. I also thought of a fan casting that would break you if they ever did Saga. If Oscar Isaac played Marco.
Huh.
Well, that'll never happen. So I don't ever need to think about that ever again.
Because I know that'd be like, wait, he played Moon Knight, Duke Leto, and Marco. I'm dead. Like, just go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm already convinced that I'm living in a fake timeline. I'm in some kind of Truman Show situation because they cast Oscar Isaac as Duke Leto and Moon Knight.
Rocking
like,
a man bun, no less.
In the same thing.
And he's making the man bun work now. And he's a silver fox now.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Is he? I haven't noticed. God.
You have not noticed, right?
Don't respond to Noah because he hasn't read Saga up to the hiatus.
He's just saying if it's a good character, you'll. But so Cynia during she's like, I'm horny posting about Dune. This is a bad morning. that trailer broke my back.
God damn. It was a good trailer though.
It was like, I'm sure your wife is going to enjoy the movie. Like,
I hope so.
I know she probably wouldn't go on, but I would love to have her on to talk Dune sometime. I'm sure Syd would love to talk Dune with her.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can talk to her. She
because we're reading Dune Messiah.
Rebecca.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd love to have her on.
Right.
We're doing 3 episodes for Dune Messiah.
Yeah, I was telling Noah that today. He let me go on a diatribe and explain to him the plot of Dune, like all of Dune. I have to explain it to him because he doesn't know how.
I need Cynia on this show though, because like the Paul stuff in it is going to make her fucking lose her mind.
Well, I was telling Noah earlier today that I hope that Cynia does come on to read Messiah and maybe even Children with us, because you do see Paul's descent. You know,
I told her, if anything, I want her to read along with us, and if she can't be on, to send me a video of her thoughts so that I can just add it into the show.
Sure. If she wants, I mean, I just want her to read it so that she can see where Paul's character goes.
Oh my! Well, during our trailer reaction, Jen was like, "I swear to God, if I don't see a fucking filing cabinet, I'm gonna." And then we also talked about like how I have to see part 2 with you, because just so you can go see Erlon's in here for like 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah, there's your girl.
We also talked about intermissions with Erlon coming on and going, let me start reading in her little passages.
Home, this fucking nerd. God,
so most of our Dune Over show is her picking on me about Erlon. She's like, she's barely in this book. What the fuck is wrong with her? She's like a live journal writer.
So boring. Yeah, like save it for your blog, Erlon. We get it. Like Paul's fucked up. We know. Post on Twitter.
But in that trailer, I like was hoping they would have that Duke Leto scene where he's like, I hate this planet. That would have been like, it's like Himbo Central though. Like literally that movie is Himbo Central.
Himbo Central.
Hey.
Like even the guy who they said is like fantastically ugly in the book, is not in this. Like, Josh Brolin's character is supposed to be fucking hideous with a big whip scar across his mouth.
I know, but
Oh, yeah?
last time, wasn't it Sir Patrick Stewart?
The first time,
They
yes.
just refused to
that's
make
true.
Gurney ugly, even though the book goes into horrific detail about how
Really?
ugly this man is.
Poor
We're-
thing.
Every
We're
time he
doing-
enters a room, there's a paragraph about how fucking ugly this man is.
But he's awesome on the balisette. He can strum a tune.
He can play a song.
So in September we're doing David Lynch's Dune before Dune comes out for our Celluloid and Scott show. Jen's gonna be a guest on it.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Noah.
I mean, it's canon.
Sorry about the Dune talk, but there was a robot jihad in it. So,
Damn. This is the page. This is
Yeah.
the moment.
Yes.
This is a horrible moment
That was it.
when you go like, oh, what a piece of shit.
So
Also,
yes.
sorry, I just want to say I viscerally remember reading this issue when it was coming out and getting to the end of it and being so excited. Yay, you picked up Dune. I have never been happier about anything than learning that there's a fucking robot resistance. Hell
Right?
yeah. Like, that was the only thing that this book needed was the resistance.
Yes,
And
I did
then
not remember
Fucking
that.
Sias shows up with the hard wire. He's got another Tim. Whew.
So I thought
Living my
about
best
something. So Quan reminded me of Baltar from Battlestar Galactica, the sci-fi series, where he's kind of a fraud, but yet they keep carrying him along because he did one good
So
thing.
long since I've seen that. I just remember the hot girl.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fair.
You know,
Well, Telsa's the hot girl in it, except she's real. She's not a hallucination. And Lucy Lawless was in that
No,
fucking
baby.
show.
Nega team.
yeah, nega Tim.
Literally, if he had like a goatee, it'd be like evil, like the evil Spock.
Oh my god, that would have been amazing, right? If he had
Little
just a little goatee,
bastard.
like it's like why does Tim have a goatee?
He's clearly evil because he has a goatee.
That would give it
happens
away.
that it happens that he's just a year or two, older than the other one, so he's like just barely getting his mustache and a little bit of hair, and that's it. That's evil Tim.
Preteen Tim.
That shit was
What
exactly.
I do
It
love,
was
though-
funny in my head.
Everybody thinks they're right in this for what they're doing. The Ganesh think they're
Bad
right
protagonist.
about what they're doing.
Everyone's
Tell-
a protagonist of
Telsa
their own
th-
story.
Telsa thinks she's doing the right thing. Quan, I don't know what the fuck other than he has gambling debts.
Yeah, I feel like he just he just did what he did, and he was like, well, I guess this is happening now. I just have to
Yeah.
continue faking it until because it is established that he's not dumb. He's still a smart. He's still a smart dude.
Mhm.
Otherwise he wouldn't have been able to do what he did anyways. So he was able to just continue faking it, continue like, yeah, I did this. Ha, I'm amazing,
Right.
Who is that professor in Harry Potter who wrote all those books? Who is Defense of the Dark Arts, but he was a fraud? I can't remember the fucking...
Oh, yeah. Isn't that the dude that he's like always like,
The blonde
in
guy.
other
Yes,
Yeah,
he's totally him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Except without the ego, but something
He
like
had
that.
an ego though, because he's like, oh god, I gotta wake up and save the world.
Oh,
Okay.
That is true at the beginning when everything was
Where he has that apartment with all the fine art, and then later on he's in that little shitty shanty.
Yep.
Thank you, Noah. No, because
Did
of
you ask
Abigail.
Abby, or did you know that? Yeah.
Because of Abby, she knows all that shit. So like, I'm 100%
No one knows it too.
after working with Abby. Like,
I think he absorbed it like osmosis.
So 100%, like, honestly, this is one of those books I'd say don't just stop at the first book.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and pick up all of them.
I don't see how you could. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's a point that I tried to make earlier. I feel like the pacing of this book is perfect, like from issue to issue and also from trade to trade. Like the
Thank you.
fact that like all of this is revealed in the final pages of the trade, like there's a robot resistance. They're coming to save Tim. Like, she's the UGC guy's daughter.
It's a great cliffhanger too, where you're like,
Yeah.
there's another Tim, even though all of them were supposedly scrapped.
Right.
Right. I mean, the reveal of a robot resistance. I really feel like we're not giving this enough attention. Like,
I feel like we haven't seen. Well, I mean, we haven't seen much because we're going to see more of that on the second trade, right?
they
Yes.
busted in there like Black Ops. Are
I mean,
you
that's-
kidding me? Like, if I hadn't read this book before and I read that, I would like be at the comic store buying the next trade so I could continue reading it. Like, that shit's exciting.
I have that second trade, but I haven't read it yet. Oddly enough.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Oh, that's exciting.
Gambit, I will hook you up, brother. I got stuff.
Promiscuous time
Thank you for
traveler.
finding us.
Hello.
I'm glad
Thanks for
that you
stopping
found us.
by.
I hope you enjoy it.
We're talking about Descender.
We're talking about December
Weird.
today.
Weird.
We're talking about December.
The Decemberists.
Okay, forget it. I'm talking about
So-
December, dude.
I'm not at a perfect 10 on this, but like it's in the high 9s.
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
But like pick them all up in Ascender. There's a time jump. It's just as fucking good, and the new protagonist in it, I love more than any other character.
And not to get off topic, but I feel like Ascender does this thing that, and I realize this is going to be controversial, but I feel like The Force Awakens also does this thing where it takes like an older story that you're familiar with and it like flips it and it makes a new story, but it gives you those little nods to the old story
Yes.
that older fans get so excited about. Like, for example, in The Force Awakens, when they're talking shit on a spaceship, they're like, that's a piece of junk. And then it's the Millennium Falcon. Like, that's hysterical to like a Star Wars fan, I think.
Let's be honest.
That's like quality humor.
It starts and ends with your boy, Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million reasons why I love that movie, but we're not talking about that right now. But Ascender does that same thing where it's a completely different story, completely different world, like entirely different book altogether. And then it's like, oh, there's Bandit. Yeah. And then like later it's like
backwards talking again.
Yeah. Oh, there's Telsa. Like you really, really don't expect these characters to even exist in this story at all because it's so far removed.
Oh, and it's horror.
I was wondering how different Ascender was to Descender, because I haven't reached that part yet, but I was wondering how different it was, you know, that it warranted a different name, you know.
It's a completely different story. Yeah. Like Jen mentioned, you don't need to read Descender
to recommend to.
I mean, you should, because you're missing out if you don't read Descender one way or the other, but yeah, it's a standalone story all on its own for sure.
Nice.
And it's not, I mean, I guess you could argue it's set in the same world, but it's set so far in the future after so many things have changed that it like truly is a different
it's setting. A different,
10 to 13 years, I think.
At least, I mean, just based on the age of the kid.
Yeah, but I would recommend, if you're going to buy these, go get the deluxe hardcovers that I think they're every 2 or 3 trades in it.
Okay.
Plus the covers are fucking incredible because Dustin Nguyen did new covers for them. And
it has fold-out art pages.
Oh, nice.
That's so fun.
Right?
Yeah, I really want them just because you can be like, look, and unfold it like an accordion.
One of my first X-Men comic books, it was Uncanny X-Men 245 or 75. I don't remember right now. Anyways, when the X-Men are in space with the Shi'ar.
Starjammers and the Shi'ar and the Brood.
And that page is that cover it folds and it's all of the X-Men in the yellow and blue costume and they're it's like yes, that's when I fell in love with the X-Men.
Prime Jim Lee.
Yes.
I gotta plug my computer in. It's dying on me.
No.
Carry on, boys. I'll be right back.
Oh, jokes aside, I have to do the same thing. I connected. So I'm gonna
plug mine in ahead of time. But next time we hang out, I've actually got all these on digital still, so I'll just let you
read them.
But I mean, buy the trades, of course.
I have the trades. They're in storage. I just haven't been able to go to the storage.
Like, I was so dedicated when Syd was in Thailand. Every Thursday, I was waking up and sending her the digital files.
Yeah.
Because she had no way of getting them.
She needed that love, though. She was pretty far away, so.
Yes, like it was one of those things. Like, I'd wake up before going to work and make sure I downloaded everything and sent them to her.
Put the link on her folder before you left. That's what good friends do.
I was just talking about how when you were in Thailand, I was waking up and sending you all the digital files so you could keep up.
Yeah.
I needed to give you your fix.
Yeah, true friendship. Sorry if you guys just saw my butt when I was plugging the computer in. There's no way for me to do that gracefully.
Our subs just went up.
It's okay. Now we have more.
Became a weird OnlyFans. I like. Again, I can't recommend this book high enough. I know, like when we did our Image top 10, like we had the entire run of Image to go through.
Yeah.
So for me, it was hard to keep Spawn off of there because of how long that book went for and how influential it was.
Yeah.
I started reading comics a lot later in the comic timeline than you guys. Because I didn't get into comics until like my senior year of high school, college. And then I didn't really get into like monthly serials until like well into college. So in my early 20s, I started reading monthlies. So that's like 2010. You know, I got like really into like keeping up with comics, and then I know you guys were both reading before that. So my pool of Image comics.
I found I've become more of a trade reader as I've gotten older.
Yes.
Like it's just the grind of it is kind of.
Yeah, I am legit. I can't keep up with going every week to the comic book store. I can't with my schedule right now. I haven't been to the comic book store in like 3 weeks, you know. So every time I go, it's like, oh man, there's another stack of book, and now already my stack of single issues is like this big. It's like I just. So
well, I mean, even the schedule with you, it's a month out right now.
Oh, a month and a half. Actually,
yeah,
I already finished. I only have one date available in September.
Good for you.
So I'm trying to book October now.
And then, like, I was gonna get my sleeve finished, and Andrew's like, "Hold on, I want to go bigger." I was like, "Okay, you've got your idea. Let's run with it."
It came out really good. I saw it. It came out really.
Yeah,
good.
it was cool hanging out with him too.
Yeah.
Just really weird that. At the same time I was getting tattooed, you were tattooing that other person.
Oh yeah,
like, weird kismet, like
I know.
Unholy trinity of weird shit.
Weird shit like that happens.
I really want Gambit to do my slutty pinup Nightwing.
Let's do this.
I've been talking about it for years.
Yes, I know.
I know Andrew said you were
the only one I trust.
I know Andrew said you were coming. He was finishing your stomach.
Yeah, I'm moving to Orlando next month, and I told him after I get settled there. Yeah, big step. Hey, babe.
I know it was funny because
it's like Andrew, if you didn't know that, you know.
Andrew was like, "Wait, Syd lived with you?" I was like, "Oh yeah, for like 2 weeks."
Yeah,
she left all her mugs.
I did. I left my Nightwing mug.
I've got it all placed together, like ready in case you stop by. Because you got the key still.
Yeah.
So if you let me know ahead of time, I'll have it boxed up and ready for you.
Thanks.
I found also one of your hair scrunchies.
Well, those are expendable.
Yeah,
you can let Bradford have it.
No, it's rubber. I don't need him pooping that out and clogging it.
It's not gonna be fun. No, that's Nikita likes to.
Bradford and her had a weird relationship.
He loves me. He just doesn't want to admit it.
He just sat outside the door staring at it. He's like, I just want to lay on the couch. That's all I want to do.
Well, yeah, and I would let him in the room and then like close the door to like change or take a shower or go to sleep, and he would start freaking out like I trapped him in there.
Like there's a door
save the drama for Dan.
To be honest, like I don't trust him now because he liked that other person. So like his radar is off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's not a good judge of God.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. Like I weaned him off the catnip. Like he might have gotten it.
Oh my
Might have gotten
God.
that addictive personality.
Right.
Oh, Bradford.
Okay, so as I said, like this is a series, buy the trades, like read through, like and then catch up. Because I think Ascender was on a hiatus and it's coming back.
Oh yeah,
I'm a little behind on Ascender.
man.
I'm not sure.
Everything good is on hiatus right now.
Well, it's no Saga. 3 years now.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's actually just I was just referring to Saga.
I don't even
That's the
care if
only thing
Saga
I was-
comes back.
I don't believe
I've been
that.
hurt too many times.
I don't believe that, but I feel you right now.
I know. Every single time I read an issue of Saga, I'm like, I'm never reading Saga again. You won't catch me buying the next issue.
Yeah, right.
On release day, I'm like knocking on the comic door.
Lock and Key Sandman was really good. I was surprised how good that was.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read that one.
The first
I'm gonna have to
issue.
read
The
that
second
one.
issue hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't buy that the last time I was at the comic shop because I saw that I was on a budget and they had all the trades of Die, and I was like, I only have this in digital. Mama needs
So,
it.
exactly. So obviously you needed that.
Jennifer hates that book now.
Why?
Hates it. She's like, it's gone on too long. It needs to end.
Which one? Die?
Die, yeah.
What issue are they on?
It's ending at issue 20 because, of course, D20.
Okay, it's ending on
See,
issue
that's
20.
cute. That's
It's
cute.
issue 16 right now.
That's
Seven.
it's too
Okay, I'm
long.
not that far
What are we talking about? Saga has.
She thinks they drew
how
it
many
out too
episodes?
much.
Okay, I can see that. I
Like,
haven't
it
read
went to-
the second part, so
I like
No,
again,
I
like
did.
the fact someone got my favorite issue tattooed on their leg still irritates me to no end. Like I can't look at it anymore.
I'm sorry about that, man.
No, it's not your fault. Like get money. Like literally, that's your job. At least it wasn't my favorite cover, so
Right.
that's the big. So I think we're all pretty consensus of like invest in this.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah. I
definitely.
mean, I think like you mentioned, the hard covers would be a great investment. I mean,
Yeah.
I think those are a bit bigger, the dimensions
Yes.
of pages, and
Mhm.
it's worth it. I know we were showing this book off earlier, but just like
They are like Southern Bastards. It's about this size.
Okay, so they're like the
Okay,
look
yeah.
size.
and I feel like that's worth it for this like
Yes.
super unique, super emotive artwork.
Plus, there's
Um,
extras not available in the regular trades.
and
Yeah.
fold out art pages, which
Yes.
is super fun.
I
But
love
yeah, for
process
anyone
pages.
that came in late, like our promiscuous time traveler friend, this entire book is done entirely in watercolor,
Yes.
with no inks, right? Just
No. Yeah,
watercolor.
It's just watercolors, yeah.
It's so
It-
cool.
It's great. He's great at that color separation. Yeah.
Yeah.
That page is insane.
Yeah,
Yeah. I saw that page today. I was
Every
like,
page is
man,
like
this
that.
dude,
So
right.
this dude.
it's funny that we talked about Die because I'd say Stephanie Hans has the most distinctive art style other than Dustin Nguyen, where you see it and you're like immediately like,
No,
I know exactly who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely does. I feel like a lot of artists do, though. Like I also feel that way about Fiona Staples
Yes.
and
Sara Pichelli.
Pichelli a
Sarah
little
Pichelli?
bit. Sarah
who's-
Pichelli a little bit. McFarlane, of course, like people
Jason
started imitating.
Burrows.
Jason Burrows, Madera, Joe Madera and Art Adams are probably the most imitated artists.
I feel like
Art Adams in particular.
yeah. There's a specific artist that every time I see it, all I see is it's Art Adams.
Rob
work,
Liefeld?
influence. Dude, listen, I need you to answer a question for me.
Oh God, no.
Is it true that he's because again I just don't have time for barely to read, but is it true that he's coming back to write X-Force for Marvel?
He's doing a one shot.
Oh, okay. Because
or a limited series or something like that.
Okay.
I have no time for it.
Is it like the X-Men Legends series that it's based outside of the continuity?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay,
Like,
so I'm not going to buy it because if it's part of the continuity, I am going to drop all my
No.
X-Men titles
considering
immediately.
how much he shit all over Jonathan Hickman, they won't let him near regular continuity because he went out of his way to shit on Jonathan Hickman.
I don't know how it still gets work, man. You know, I don't know how you can be that shitty and still get work consistently.
Oh, it's
I know
easy.
why. I know
he sells.
why. Yeah.
Say
I know
what
why.
you
It's
want
because-
about Jonathan Hickman, but like he made X-Men accessible to like this generation of comic readers.
Oh, House of X, Powers
I
of X.
genuinely believe. Like, yeah, by starting it over, by saying like actually the story starts here now. Like I had never really read X-Men before that because where the fuck do you start?
Where do you start?
know?
Yeah, it's really
It's impenetrable.
Yeah.
It really is. And
I'm
like,
an X-Men reader for years, and even if I take a break of a few months, I'm like, I don't even want to start. I have been out away from X-Men for a while again, you know.
I will check that out, Bobby.
Yeah, I will admit, like I got into X-Men really when Hickman started doing the new X-Men, like because it was a starting off point that someone like me could start off from.
That's one of the times that I say, okay, this is a reboot that was done well and it works, because I know that like you, there's a lot of people that that been wanting to start reading X-Men, and it feels the way he did it. It feels like you can go back and read any of those trades now out of order and kind of feel familiar with them already, you know. Like if you've never read Inferno or Fatal Attractions or anything like that, you can, now that you've been reading X-Men, you can go back and read those books and kind of have an idea of the trajectory of these characters before that specific story, without having to go back and read it, without having to go back and read everything, because it's a lot of books to read, you know.
So if you go back into our playlist for this, we did Black Monday Murders, Promiscuous Time Traveler, and spoiler, we loved it. I actually have a Black Monday Murders tattoo.
Yeah.
One of the covers that Gambit did on me. Can't see it really. It's like I started very early in X-Men during Chris Claremont with John Romita Jr. on art, with the whole Nimrod saga, and it was impenetrable back then. Like it was just like, just pick your spot and run with it. That's the only way you can do it.
Yeah. When I started reading, when I got that X-Men that I was telling about earlier, that I only had like 3 issues when I got that. When I started reading X-Men, I just had those first 3 issues. So like, I don't know what's happening, but the art was so beautiful. I said, I need to find more. I know, and that's what I did, trying to find books that I could read with more of Jim Lee's art, so I could enjoy it, because that's what got me at first, you know.
I would recommend also for people wanting to go through the whole X-Men history, John's Comics with Kids and No Good Comics do Omni X-Men every week. I think it's Tuesday nights, where they're going issue by issue. They're in the Dark Phoenix saga right now.
Wow.
Cool.
So they're doing the Claremont burn and working their whole way through the omnibuses as they come out. And they do giveaways and trivia during the show. Great show. I've been in the chat a couple of times. I haven't been on the show because that's kind of, once they get to the other stuff, I maybe try to, when it was like in my wheelhouse. But the Dark Phoenix saga was a little bit before my time, and I don't have the money to buy the omnibuses right now.
But there's single trades that you can get those in single trades.
Yeah, but those omnibuses are so nice.
Oh, like, dude, I know.
The Preacher omnibus I got is just...
It's beautiful. Yeah,
I haven't opened it yet.
I have X-Men Classics omnibus. I have the Mighty Thor by Lewis and by Simonson.
Oh God, that's my favorite run.
I have that one. I have the Geoff Jones Aquaman when he did the new 52 Aquaman. That was such a good book. Oh my God.
Speaking of Aquaman, did you see Jason Momoa in the trailer for Dune?
Oh, right. I thought he had shaved for that movie, but then they show that later on he's shaved. So I'm
The
guessing that is-
ladies were mad because he shaved.
yeah, but
Not mad about it.
Giggity.
The slow blade penetrates.
Call me the God Emperor because I fucking love Duncan, Idaho.
So I found a shirt on Redbubble. It's all Duncan Idaho's. It says Duncan Idaho and it has all these bodies.
Like dead bodies.
It's just like different Duncan Idaho's, and it's like that you do for kill counts with the bodies.
Yeah, so I made this joke when we were doing the Dune Over and we got the casting for the Dune movie, and I was like, they're in the casting room and they're like, okay, we need someone that would be
Reanimated.
Thank you, reanimated every generation for 4,000 years because they're so hot. Who do we cast? And they're like, Jason Momoa? Yes.
We need the ultimate himbo.
It's like, who do we cast? And everyone was like, really? Did you just really ask that right now? Have you not been part of the internet for the past few years?
Like literally, like they hit every corner of like horny Twitter with this between Timothy Chalamet and then Oscar Isaac.
No, they really are nailing every demographic there.
Josh Brolin for the older ladies.
Yeah.
That's by design.
So Gambit, I got to ask you, what is your book for next month?
My book for next month. Okay, so I originally had I have a limited collection of books here in the apartment because everything, like I've said before, it's in storage, and I wanted to read something from what I had here. But now talking about X-Men, I think I want to read something about X-Men. Would you guys give me a few minutes to think about what trait of X-Men we can read? Oh, I know, Fatal Attractions.
Really?
Yes, it's a fun read. It's when Magneto takes Wolverine's adamantium through his skin. That's an iconic moment in that series.
All right. Well, it's a Magneto story. So
Yeah, you had me at Magneto.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to try and get John's comics on and No Good Comics because we're doing
that's
X-Men.
pretty cool. Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel I wanted to do something different, but I feel like I wanted also to put something. Now that we're talking about X-Men, it's perfect. I wanted to read something that was like a little bit more. I don't know.
Mutant Massacre also is pretty awesome.
Okay, so let's do something. Give me 2 days to pick which trade we're going to.
We're doing an X title,
but it's going to be an X-Men title. It's going to be an X-Men title
because I know John's doing like a House of X, Powers of X reread.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's
pretty cool, but I think that's very recent.
Bought the trade.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
obviously for the past 4 years since I've been abroad, I only have digital comics for the past 4 years. So yeah, now when I go to the comic store, I'm like, I've already read this and I want to buy this and I want to buy this, but I've already read everything that I'm buying. I just want to physically have it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I feel that. That's why I ended up with so many books all of a sudden when I moved here from Puerto Rico. It's like I moved here 5 years later. Like, where did I get so many books? How?
I spoiled Sid for her birthday. I bought her like 10 trades.
Yeah, he wouldn't stop.
Yeah, I mean,
she was like, "Stop, please stop!" And like, I sent her the new X-Men cable with the fuckboy cable.
Yeah, he was sending them to me on Comixology. So I was like getting a different email of Dan sending me a trade like every 5 minutes for like an hour. I was like, Dan.
Stop it.
Well, I wanted you to catch up.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Plus, you were like living at your parents, and I knew you needed reading material.
I was having a hard time. My favorite out of those was probably Something Is Killing the Children.
I love that series. It's so good. And he just wrote another book, The Nice House on the Lake. It's like a horror novel at the end of the world. Is Something Is Killing the
Children finished, or is it still ongoing?
It's still going. Okay. Now they're doing Erica's origin.
Ooh,
from when she was a kid. It's progressive, and it's weird because James Tynion on Batman, I don't love. But on these indie books, he's fucking fantastic. Like, it's just his real voice comes through.
That's interesting. Could it be that because he's Batman, being Batman, he's being restricted on the things that he can write about? I'm pretty sure that has an influence on his writing when you're trying to create something that's where you have complete freedom versus you are writing with a bunch of restrictions. Because let's face it, DC puts a bunch of restrictions for writers that
there's a lot of bat baggage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a horror fan, so Something Is Killing the Children kind of captures my interest. Plus, I love those masks.
I haven't read.
I really enjoyed Something Is Killing the Children.
Nice House on the Lake is just kind of awesome.
I want to read that one too. I read
2 issues so far.
Yeah, I've read good things about. I mean, I've seen posts of people that have read it and said that it's good. So it's one of those that I at some point want to read.
As far as like, okay, so if you like Descender, is there a book that you would recommend for people to also try?
Oh my God! Oh, I don't know why I'm surprised about these questions about this specific question when we ask this thing every time.
Every time, I never think about it beforehand, though.
Right?
I have one like right at the tip of my tongue.
Which one?
Tokyo Ghost.
Oh, yeah, that's actually something that I would say it's a post-apocalyptic
technology addict.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see how
John Gordon Murphy's art, like nobody draws trash like he does.
That is true.
I mean, Tokyo Ghost is
we both have tattoos
my favorite book. Yeah. For me, that scratches a completely different itch than Descender. But yeah, great book. I would recommend that to pretty much anyone that's looking for like sci-fi dystopian future, like the struggle of humanity to remain moral in the face of disaster.
Yeah, I love that. I love that book.
But yeah, for me, Descender sits in like a different place in my heart than Tokyo Ghost.
That's fair.
But
Tokyo Ghost,
they destroy you differently.
Yeah,
they destroy you differently. That is true. But they both destroyed you. I remember that.
Yeah.
Saga will really destroy you in ways you don't want.
Yeah. Tokyo Ghost wrecked me. That's a very personal book for me that hit a very specific place in my heart, and I love it. It's my favorite book.
I have Deb. You have Led.
Yeah.
Not on purpose. It just happened.
It just happened. Yeah. I don't know what other book I could recommend that's similar to this right now. And the reason I agree with the Tokyo Ghost is it's not because it's a similar story, but it's because it kind
different
of
heartstrings. For me, at least.
It's because future technology post-apocalyptic. Yeah, it's because of those reasons that I would, associate these books, not because the stories are similar, because they are not.
Right. I mean, I feel like it goes without saying I would recommend Black Hammer to someone who enjoyed Descender, obviously.
Yeah, 100%.
Completely different kind of stories, but somehow a similar vibe. It's
a deconstruction somewhat, but not to the point where they hammer you with it constantly. Not a pun.
I feel like there's something else that I just can't think of at the moment.
Like literally Saga, if you're not reading it, like seriously, just bite the bullet. It's $40 for the fucking giant omnibus, like with all 53 issues.
What?
Yeah.
Read Saga if you like hurting and being in pain.
Right. The problem with Saga is that
you're a masochist.
You're gonna reach a point where you go like, okay, so when's the next trade coming? That's what they get you.
Gotcha.
That's what they get you. It's like, this is it, but
honestly, with that last issue, I just remember the anger from everyone, and then like I had gifted that giant omnibus to person we're not going to talk about.
You gifted to someone.
Yeah, and the anger I got when someone died was like over the top.
I mean, but Saga.
Why'd you do this to me?
Like 3 days. So that happened when I was living in Japan, and you guys know I was having a hard time when I was living in Japan. Yeah, and Saga went on hiatus, so I read that last issue before hiatus, and I like straight up didn't speak to anyone for several days.
It's true. I just remember like, why did you do this?
and then it's been what, 3 years now since that issue came out?
2.5, 3, yeah.
Like 2.5, 3 years.
It would have been 2018, yeah.
And what's, have they like said something about where they are?
She started a family.
6 months and goes, "Don't worry, Saga's coming back."
Fiona started a family. She was pregnant, had her kid, and then like Brian K. Vaughan's like, "All right, okay, give her time. You
okay,
know,
that's fair. That's fair. Having a baby, it's a lot of it's a lot of work,
especially if you're grinding to finish issues.
Yeah. No,
I can't imagine.
I can see how, and if it's been 3 years, that means that kid it's still, you know, in those first stages that are, you know, very, very hard sometimes. If I don't know if she has more kids or not, but that first one is always
a doozy.
It's chaos. Yeah, no, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It was fun raising David. You know, David was such a beautiful kid. He is a beautiful kid. You know, but he was such a beautiful toddler and growing up. You know, it was super fun, but it's really fucking hard. I can totally agree with people with this younger generation that says I'm not gonna have kids. Okay, good. That's fair. You know,
valid.
Yeah. My shit. He said, "I'm not gonna give you grandkids." That I said, "Okay, I'm cool with that."
So this is probably completely different from it, but if you want something that'll tug your heartstrings in a different way, a book we did 2 months ago, Chicacabra.
Chicacabra.
I really want to read that. I really enjoyed your show.
I will get you a copy.
Yeah.
Or the next time you come down, I'll give you my copy to read.
Mm-hmm.
But
the pages of the second book.
They're
beautiful.
I'd love to have Tom on to promote it and talk about it.
Yes. As soon as that comes out, I told him that, and he said yes.
So, like, it's a different kind of book. Like, it's not sci-fi or anything, but the emotional strings to it are right up there. And a book that I've championed and we've talked about and had the writer on, Philadelphia, continues to be unbelievably solid.
Nice.
Another historical character came back from the dead.
Oh.
And he is as much of a douchebag as you could imagine.
Nice.
May or may not have owned slaves and fucked them.
Of course.
Yes. He just came back and he's like the vampire Lestat. He had a rock band at one point during the 70s.
Naturally.
Obviously. So what you do?
It just continues to be a solid read and just turns the whole vampire genre on its head. And
nice. I really did enjoy that first trade.
The writer has been incredibly generous to us. So, like, I'm not saying this because he's been on the show, but he's
been really good.
Just been really good to us. Boy, oh boy, like, as far as the technology stuff, like a book that's kind of, I keep going back to Tokyo Ghost for some reason. That's although there was that Scott Snyder book I didn't hate, but I didn't love, The Wake.
Oh, I didn't read that.
With Sean Gordon Murphy on art, where it was a sea monster book.
Oh yeah. I read
that
the first half. Yes, it was. The first half of that book was really good. I didn't finish it because I never opened the trade when it came out. I did buy the first half, and it was really good.
Also, Time Traveler by the Horns was very good. Killer Unicorns. It's interesting. Aftershock has had some great books lately. I have also enjoyed.
Yeah.
Wait. Noah has a book?
Noah has a book?
Which one, babe? What are you talking about?
No, I haven't read it, but
Oh,
he owns
wait.
it.
No, he can't read. He buys books for me. He leaves them around the house like treats.
That's cool.
It's to distract Abby when she comes over. I literally gave her the digital files for every X-Men book up until like 2013 before she quit. Or before our store closed.
You're like
the Wake.
Santa. Okay, thank you, Noah. That's great that you have that.
Sean Gordon Murphy's art on there, and I guess like Jen had talked to him at a convention before she started hating Sean Gordon Murphy, and they made Carl Sagan whale sounds together.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So
Yeah.
I might be really off the mark on this, but I feel like someone who enjoys Descender would enjoy Deadly Class. Jen would probably disagree.
I haven't read Deadly Class yet.
Jen's got a hatred that
Jen and I, that's where we don't sync up, is Remender.
we joked one time, she was like, all right, you get Remender on the show, I'll get Tom King, and I was like, oof.
I would pay per view, my friend. I would give you my money to see that show.
You know, you know, I work with a Puerto Rico convention, the comic book convention in Puerto Rico, the Puerto Rico Comic Con, and I work with them hosting the artist panel, the guest artist panels, right, for them, and I've worked with a lot of John Romita Jr. and Mark Brooks and a bunch of other artists, and it's been really, really, really cool. But I'm always afraid that one day they're going to say that they're going to have Rob as a guest, you know, because I would put aside my personal feelings and will host the panel and I will give, you know, my best performance ever, you know, because it's how I work, you know. But I'm always afraid that I'm gonna have one day to encounter this person and I have to be professional about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have October's pick, and I kind of like was hinting to Jen what I was thinking about picking, and I was like, I might contact the author, and she's like, oof, I don't know about that. And I was like, why? And she goes, I might have talked shit about them on my show, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Ew.
Scott Snyder.
Snyder.
What did Scott Snyder do wrong?
Not a fan. She's not a fan.
No, and I love Scott Snyder.
That was my first that was the first panel that I hosted for.
Him and Capullo were like awesome dudes to talk to, but like
yeah.
I'll say like finishing books, like getting a good ending is not his strong point. Like
right. I noticed that with this metal.
The metal is what I was gonna bring up too. That was
you know,
those great until the ending.
To the ending, you know, and the same thing happened with The Last Night on Earth, you know. It's like there's some good concepts there, but there's something that's missing, you know. And I love the dude. Like I said, that was the first panel that I hosted, and he was really nice. He was really cool. So I'm a fan of him, you know, and it's really sad that I get, you know, to the ending of these books and I'm like, oh man.
I mean, I would say it is possible to appreciate someone as like a good artist and also criticize like some aspect of their work, you know, like I wouldn't say that us saying that Snyder might not be the best at ending a series is us like talking shit, you know. It's just
well, Jen on her other show with Mars, I guess, like went in.
And I mean, you know, that's their prerogative for sure. To each their opinion. I really enjoy Snyder's work, but now that you mention it, I do agree that he has a finishing problem.
What I did love is that he's very open. He has horrible anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
And he has like hard times like with writing the books, like when they gave him Batman, he flipped the fuck out and like literally was freaking out. And
I
like
about that, I remember.
I really liked his All-Star Batman.
that was okay. His
I'm the only
detective
person in the
run
world.
was
I
very good.
loved that run. I'm the only person in the world that did, but I loved it.
It was fun. Like that was him like going, okay, I can do whatever I want. Like
Yeah.
this is what I've got. His detective run I really liked. That I thought that was good, and he said he got like incredibly drunk at the Chicago convention when they told him, they were like, hey, we're gonna give you detective, and he flipped out and got drunk.
Yeah.
Hey.
And I guess he was so drunk he fell asleep messaging Dan Didio who the artist was that he got. He was like, I got Jock, and then just laid on the K and fell asleep at the keyboard.
I can see that happening.
Cute.
Anxiety, like it's your worst enemy. It really
Violence of
is.
our times.
Yes. And add in pandemic at the same time.
Oh my god, you know what? If this book had ever been continued, I would say it would be a great one for someone who enjoyed Descender. I wonder if Dan knows what book I'm going to say.
Which book?
Fucking Trees, dude.
Oh, yes.
That was such a good story.
Yeah. Oh, God. Before Warren Ellis got canceled, like way before he got canceled.
It's a good story, though.
What book is it again?
Trees
by Ellis.
It was
Oh, yeah,
Warren
you
Ellis.
never heard of it because it was a sci-fi book that he was running when I was at the shop. So between like 2016, 2018, I don't remember exactly the year. One of the best sci-fi books I've ever read. I would put it in the exact same category with Descender. Super great, slow, epic world building.
Yeah.
Like really, really interesting art, like really stylized art. Just a super cool sci-fi story that's like slowly unfolding and becoming like more dynamic as you read it. And just abandoned.
Man.
Same with Southern Bastards, because Jason Latour apparently was diddling little girls.
Was that abandoned as well?
Yes, because Jason
Nice.
Latour.
Which one was that one?
Southern Bastards by
Southern Bastards.
Jason Aaron. Jason Latour was up to some shenanigans in his personal life, and that got outed. So I did think about
this Ellis book. This was like 5 years ago, so
yes,
no excuse.
I actually did think of a book that by Remender, but also with the same complex characters that would fall into the Descender. Yes,
Yeah,
everybody's a shitbag.
Yeah, except it's on the opposite end of the spectrum because it's not sci-fi, it's only fantasy.
Yes.
It's hard fantasy, if you will. There's no technology.
But Mud King?
Absolutely.
He's almost in that Prince Robot category.
Yeah. I thought that too, but I didn't mention it just because it's so far removed from sci-fi.
But that is, and the art is fucking phenomenal.
Great.
By Jerome Opina.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm trying to find that Trees book.
Laptop background is from 7 to Eternity still.
Oh my god, I read that first trade for that. No, I read that first issue because you made me read that first issue. I remember, and I really enjoyed it, but I never followed through.
Oh, it's great.
Stray Bullets is an interesting book. Like, it's a long series though, but David Lapham worked on that book for fucking ever. Love and Rockets by the Hernandez brothers also is one that I would consider. Again, older book. I also, the old Eastman and Laird Ninja Turtles, I would love to get into one day because, I mean...
that's a good idea.
Such a weird book that should never have taken off, but did because they basically were just making fun of Daredevil.
Isn't that funny?
Literally, the origin of them is Daredevil's origin. They were just like, we like what Frank Miller did with the origin. Fuck it.
Did you know that who was it that I think it was never mind. When I remember the whole story, I'll tell it. It's connected to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Daredevil.
Well, the Toys That Made Us or whatever that was on Netflix, where they talked about the creation of that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, the only one worse was that Masters of the Universe documentary, the I Have the Power, that was out there with the whole making of He-Man, which weird that I mentioned that today because the He-Man series dropped and
Yesterday.
it's getting review bombed.
Yeah, but it's getting review bombed by a selected group of people.
Yes.
It's very obvious why they are, because it's so obvious
Insoles.
what they are ranting. Yeah, it's so obvious what they're ranting about. You know, it's like, really, dude, like, because I saw it. I saw the whole thing. It's just 5 episodes. I love it. I love it. Because the truth is that if you go back right now and you put any episode from the original series, they are boring as fuck.
Except for Skeletor.
Exactly. There's no way you can sit through that more than 2 episodes in a row and be like, oh, this is the best thing ever, because it's, let's be honest, it is not. So this new series is expanding a lot of things from that series, you know, from things that were hinted, things that are just from the comic, or things that are just from whatever toy they designed that never saw the light of day, you know. And it's they've done it well. The problem that they're having is that there's some episodes that the center of attention is it's a female character, and that's the only problem that some of them are having.
And so, shit like this where I think like, oh, we've come so far, and I'm like, nah, fuck that, we haven't. Like, fuck everybody. I can't deal with this shit anymore.
No, I mean this Masters of the Universe group, and I'm like you're just gonna get out of it because it's not fun, and it's not worth the time. The show I did enjoy. It was really good animated. It gives you so much throwback and Easter eggs that you go like, yeah, it's touching that nostalgia thing with something new, which is what I wanted. You know, I don't want to see He-Man doing the same thing over and over again. Comes in, punch the bad guy, he wins, gives you a nice message at the end. You know, it was a great product at the time, but it's a product of that time, and it's very, very bad product of that time. You know, it's not the best. It is not. No. And I will argue that with anyone. We can sit and watch whatever episode you want from Grayskull, and you can find ways to debate how that shit is good and it's not. And don't get me wrong, I love Masters of the Universe. I grew up with Masters of the Universe. I had so many Masters of the Universe figures growing up, so it's not that it's a new thing for me.
They always had to have a positive message at the end.
I'm that 40-year-old man that is watching this out of pure nostalgia, and it was a good show. It was.
Also, Gore, Matt Wagner's Grendel, it's on my radar. Like, it'll get there. Like, I love that series, and it's just way too fucking long.
Yeah. I want to read one of those Batman Grendel books.
I think I gave you the trade.
Yeah, I know. That's why I mentioned it.
We've gone on for a long time.
Yeah, a little bit longer than.
But I mean, I guess it's because it's friends that haven't talked in a while, except on like chat here and there.
Yeah.
So Syd, real quick, your thoughts on the Dune trailer? I need this on video.
My concern now is that the trailer is too good. Right? Like looking at the trailer and like everything about it, like I'm not a movie person. I'm not smart enough for film. I say this all the time. It drives Noah crazy. Like, I'm not smart enough for film. So I don't know what I'm talking about. But like the cinematography that I see in the trailer, the music that's in the trailer, the character moments that we get in the trailer, like those small Dougletto moments, those small
they put humor in it on
Idaho moments, those little Gurney moments, like those Atreides boys moments that we get in the trailer, for me are perfect. So far what I've seen from the Dune trailer, like it looks to be perfect. And I know it's not going to be. Like, nothing can be, right? It will certainly disappoint me.
I trust the director.
So,
you know, that's why I'm glad I haven't read the book, and I was never a fan of the original movie.
Not a fan of the original movie. No. Huge fan of the book, obviously.
Obviously.
And I don't know anything about movies, but I liked the original Blade Runner, but I found the modern sequel to be boring.
Beautiful.
Sure, but I could look at a picture that's beautiful. I don't go to the movies to
I
look
get you.
at things. I go to be entertained.
Well, Ridley Scott also said he's like, it was too goddamn long.
I mean, I was just like yawning, you know, like I was just kind of waiting for something to happen for a lot of that movie.
I feel that.
And I'm not an academic movie goer, you know, like give me a Marvel movie. I want the entertainment, you know, that's me.
Yeah. You want the
I'm
popcorn.
that member of the audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want the
So
popcorn,
it
you
didn't do
got
it for me. Yeah.
I get it. It's the same thing with me. Although I do like films, I like enjoying them. I don't like okay, I'm gonna say it again, nostalgia. I don't so a movie that does not create nostalgia for me is the Dune movie, because when I saw it I was a kid and it was, for me, it wasn't entertaining at all. It was long.
The movie's bad.
It was long. It was
bad.
Like it's a bad movie and it's a
boring.
bad adaptation of the book.
Mhm.
It's just bad.
So Cinia watched it one night after hearing us talk shit about it.
Did you watch the old movie?
Yes, and I have hours of her texting me going, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh my god, Kyle MacLachlan's tits are out. What is going on?" I was like, "Wait,
Well,
what did you just
At least
say?"
it gave us one thing.
She's like, "This worm looks horrible." I was like, "I know." She's like, "Wait, what the fuck are they doing with these headsets on?" I was like, "I know." Like,
I mean, to be fair, she was warned, you know,
many times.
Back to the Dune trailer. I have really, really unreasonably high hopes right now for it to be a movie that satisfies like long-term fans, which like how rare is that? You know, for a like big cinema adaptation of like an old, well-loved book
So
to be satisfying.
There's a 10-minute right now preview in IMAX theaters. That hasn't leaked online. Yes, they're doing what they did with the Dark Knight with the whole bank heist scene.
10-minute?
10 minutes, and it's Chani.
Okay, you have to be really sure of your product to give away.
It's her entire speech.
So here's
they want
the
to make people
thing
see
about
this in
that.
IMAX.
So like we've talked about this on the Dune Over, how we expect the first Dune movie to be essentially the first book.
Yes,
So there won't be that much Chani in it.
First half. The dream sequences.
Sure. The dream sequences.
And I imagine he'll probably meet her at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
That's it.
They'll meet. I mean, we predicted before that. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil anything on this show. Come to the Dune show and you'll get it all spoiled. We predicted that it would end at a certain point where a big thing happens. And
yes, which they showed in the trailer.
Yeah. Well, no, they don't show it in the trailer. They certainly don't show it in the trailer, what I'm talking about. The thing with the maker that happens later.
Okay.
I'm covering my ears so I don't hear what you're talking about.
It's okay.
So
I don't care.
Anyway, I'm waiting for that 10 minutes to leak so that we can watch it. Because it eventually some asshole is going to record it.
Of course. It's going to leak soon.
And then I'm going to get a text in the morning, like 10 a.m. with, "Y'all, I just saw this."
It's like, why aren't you guys awake to see this with me?
So like the first teaser, I got TikTok links from people that filmed it in the theater.
Yeah.
Like, it was that sad thirst.
He sent it out. He's like, "Watch this quick before it's deleted."
She's not lying.
All right.
She's really not lying.
Yeah.
It happened. That dude, like, same thing with the Halloween. When Halloween Kills, someone released the cam. I was like, "Everybody watch this before it leaves."
Oh, that's right. No, they did that with the Dark Knight Returns.
Very much Dark Knight Rises and Dark Knight
Returns.
So, like,
I wish.
That's so funny that you just said that, Gambit, because I was like, I don't remember a plane crash in The Dark Knight Returns. But I wasn't going to say anything because I'm dumb.
So The one thing that happened after the trailer, people were like, the movie is actually bigger and louder than what they showed in the trailer. I was like, all right, what are we talking here? Yes. So there's people who saw it already.
I mean,
so I don't know if it's like people going, yeah, you really need to see it in the theater with that whole, with that IMAX. Like, I want to hear that fucking thumper going.
Oh, I want to see it in IMAX. Same. Is that a thing we can do?
It's right by my house. There's an IMAX here.
I mean, it'll be shown in IMAX too.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. Of course.
Like, we can even come here and record afterward.
Ooh, baby.
I've got 2 mics. If Gambit wants to go with us,
I do want to watch that movie.
I'm so fucking excited, dude.
When does it come out? I have to plan
October.
it. Like
I've got vacation.
Legit
October 21st, 22nd. Yeah, literally, Noah can just visit his mom and go see it here.
October 23rd and October 22nd.
October 21st will be preview night, and then 22nd, 23rd. I think Jen wanted to record on the 23rd.
Okay, yeah, I can't. I'll be at Spooky Empire that weekend.
Yeah, Andrew's trying to drag me so that he can have my tattoo be the.
No, that's the weekend of Spooky Empire.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's really difficult. Yeah,
wait, and Spooky's in Orlando, isn't it?
Yes,
Orlando. No, but I know that I think it's that Saturday. I'm going to a Black Label Society concert afterwards. So a friend of mine got tickets, and he said, "Hey, we're going to see this." Like, oh, dude, but no, we're going to see this. I guess,
I had told Andrew I'd work Spooky for him.
Yeah, he was like, "I need to bring you because that tattoo I did for you is really good, and I really want to enter it." I was like, "We'll see, man. We'll see.
It'll be fun." I just told him I'd work the counter for him
because he I guess you guys are renting a house or something.
Yeah,
he wants to do like Airbnb.
Yeah.
But I'll be living in Orlando, so.
Yeah, you don't have to do Airbnb exactly. You'll be close. Yeah, we're staying closer to the convention center, and because it's easier than just getting up early and trying to drive an hour and then find parking.
So
that'll be cool though. I can just easily meet you guys there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's good for me.
Yeah.
We are at the 2-hour mark, which
we're at the 2-hour
we swore we were never going over an hour and a half again, but when old friends meet up.
It's been so long.
It's been.
But
thank you, everybody who stayed with us during this
random
ass talk.
Yes,
we should read
extended with randomness.
Promiscuous Time Traveler, I got your message with the whole Nice House on the Lake message character chart. I will look at that later.
Oh, nice.
And buy the book.
Yes.
Buy all of them. Buy
this
the hardcovers.
cover is by Gambit.
It's not by me. Don't say that, because then people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's not Gambit. That was a lie."
And next thing you know, Sid will have it tattooed on her.
I wish I don't have the book with me, but let me show you the.
Yeah.
So I don't feel out of the.
And as always, go check out Gambit at gambitsinc.com. If you're in the Cocoa Beach area or Orlando and want to get tattooed, you can book an appointment through him. It'll be a month and a half out. So if you're traveling, you got time.
We can plan it.
You can catch me on Celluloid and Scotch in 2 or 3 weeks. I think we're doing the new Suicide Squad.
Oh, man.
It looks fun. And we'll be doing whatever Gambit X-Men book we pick for next month.
Yes.
And check out Jen, who is no longer here. She had whatever came up. She is Sunday with Mars on her channel. The link is in the description below, doing their casual comics show. And then every Friday night, she does Comic Talk Live with Will the Beast Fitness and Bearded Comic Bro and a bunch of other people. I don't do a weekly anymore because I couldn't handle it.
It's not easy, man. I don't know how I'm doing that Dungeons and Dragons game. I don't know. It's not easy.
It was my sleep that was really, because I was trying to cram like 30 books in by Friday afternoon, and then going to bed at 12 and waking up at 4 and then doing a show and then going to work.
Yeah, I can see how that'd be exhausting.
Thank you, Bobby, for coming. Catch us next month. And the Dune Over is coming back.
Woo woo!
We're doing Dune Messiah. It'll be 3
episodes.
We will have Read Across the Stars if she can actually show up. She's kind of last minute canceled the last 3 shows. Not trying to shade you.
Yeah.
And
the show.
Scott Hazelwood, who joined us on the Genderqueer live stream, who is a cartoonist, will be joining us.
Cool.
He is also a huge Dune fan, and it will be Spice Boys plural now.
Nice.
It won't be just Spice Girls and Dan.
Talk about diversity.
And I'm really hoping for Cynia to join us because I really need to hear her rants. And just to touch on it real quick, we talked about it in the trailer reaction. Cynia had a big reaction to the fact there's not enough Middle East, North African representation in it. While there are people of color added to this new version instead of just completely whitewashed.
The whole thing.
She's not wrong. It steals from Muslim culture. There should be representation of that culture. While there are advances, they're still not all the way there. Just want to touch on that since we were talking about it. And for those who are new to the channel, we will never not talk about Dune.
Yes, for the new people in the channel, welcome. Just know that we're going to mention Dune at some point, even if we haven't read the book.
It really comes up in every single stream we do.
It does.
And also let Rebecca know we're doing it. If she wants to join us, no pressure.
Let her know.
But Sid will be there, so it'll be a safe space.
Yeah.
I'm sure her and Jen will get along like crazy because I just know the personalities. So like I 100% know they will get along.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're going to do it in 3 parts, so we'll break the book into thirds.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not sure when it's going to be. And hey, if you want to join your wife in the reading of it, all the better.
Right. I have the books here. I have.
You'll just be lost going like, what happened in Dune now?
You have to read Dune first.
Oh no, you haven't read Dune yet.
It will
You're not going to do it with us.
It will insult you for the first 100 pages.
I mean, I will try.
Yeah, I wanted to throw the book in the trash.
So I also wanted to throw, because you and Cynia said that during our live stream, my friend Nicole, who Gambit started doing a saga tattoo on about 4 years ago,
that we haven't finished yet.
She started reading it. It's now one of her top 5 books because she almost threw it in the trash. But she listened to you guys saying the first 100 pages.
You just have to get through the first 100 pages. And it's pretty insulting that something would make you slog through 100 pages of academic condescending bullshit. But the payoff truly is worth it.
I hear that.
It is like full like Hickman. Where it's like, I'm going to
like,
throw all this shit at you in one shot, and you either keep up or drop it.
Or don't speak to me that way.
It's an AP class.
Not smarter than me.
So thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody who joined us, and of course our fabulous panel. Always a pleasure to hang out with these wonderful people every month. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.